Number 5, the program calls for a building with 60,000 square feet per floor on 3 floors. However, upon reviewing the building code, you realize that the height and area tables only allow up to 40,000 square feet of floor area for the construction type that you have currently assumed for the project. What is your most likely game plan? So A, we have the possibility of using a 4-hour rated wall to divide the building into 2 sections. B, don't tell the client, but propose a discussion with the code official. C, tell the client what is the maximum amount they can build, 40,000 square feet. Or D, look for programming overlaps to reduce square footages. So to answer this, I'm going to go backwards through this. D, totally a reasonable answer, except for the fact that you always are doing D. You're always trying to find overlaps and to reduce. That's one of the points of a program, and one of the points of being an architect is that you see those kinds of elements. So looking for ways to get overlaps to reduce the square footages, that should be something that you're doing for every project all the time. So D doesn't really quite answer this situation. I'm going to jump to B. B starts with don't tell the client. You know immediately that's not an answer. So it's not B and it's not D. Don't tell the client, but propose a discussion with the code official. It's always a good idea to talk to your code officials as much as you can. So that's fine, but not in that way. You would always want to have the client know what was going on for something that major. So now we have A and C left. Let's look at C. Tell the client what is the maximum amount they can build, which is 40,000 square feet. You absolutely would want to tell them that, but that's not really going to be the answer they're looking for. They're looking for, okay, great, but how do I get 60,000 square feet? And of the choices that we have here, the only really good one is A. So I have a building, a lopsided building apparently. It's 60,000 square feet per floor. It's multiple floors. One of the ways I might be able to answer this is by changing my construction type. Maybe I have a steel building, and instead of using steel, I'm going to make it a concrete construction instead. And I get more square footages on my height and area limitations. Maybe there's a couple of other ways I could approach it, but the only one that was given to us that was a reasonable approach was A. So A is where I have one building, but I essentially put what's referred to as a building wall right down, and that's that 4-hour wall. Now, I might have a corridor that goes right through it, and I can have that be open with doors, and those doors can be on hold opens, so they just sit up against the wall, if you will, and they just sit open, so anybody who's in the building may not even realize that it has technically become 2 buildings. So from a code standpoint, this is now 2 buildings, but from the use standpoint, it's still 1 building. So I put this in here. I've talked about this before in a couple different places. The reason I put this example in is to get you to see that the code never tells you you can't do anything. What it tells you is the way that you're thinking about it, you can't do it. So you have to change the way that you're thinking about it. So there's always a way to bring you through the process. We could have this be, maybe they wanted to have it be an unlimited size. Well, that probably means you need to change the construction type, or it probably means that something else needs to change, or maybe you have to think of it as separate buildings and then find each one has their own egress and some other possibilities. The code is not ever going to say yes or no. It only gives you a series of hoops that you have to jump through in order to make the thing that you want to make. And this is just one example. If I could, I'd much rather not build this big 4-hour wall, because that 4-hour wall costs a lot. So it's a big expense, so I wouldn't want to do it if I wasn't required to do it. But I could still have 1 building that reads to the code officials as 2 buildings and therefore fits through all of those needs. That wall would have to go all the way up and down from foundation to roof, by the way.